The Siege of Stalingrad. A turning point in the Eastern Front. In the summer season of 1942, Nazi Germany's army superior deep into Soviet territory, pushing toward the strategic town of Stalingrad. Hitler used to be decided to seize the city, which bore the identity of his arch-nemesis Joseph Stalin, and noticed it as a key to breaking the Soviet Union's resistance. What ensued was once one of the most brutal and protracted battles in history, lasting for 5 long months, with each aspect struggling with heavy casualties. But what made this struggle so significant? How did it change the cause of the war? Let's discover. Hello and welcome to the History Hub, the place we discover the records and occasions that have formed our world. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most pivotal battles of the Second World War, a battle that changed the cause of the war on the Eastern Front, the Siege of Stalingrad. The Siege of Stalingrad started on August 23, 1942, when the German military launched a huge assault on the city. At the time, Stalingrad used to be a key industrial middle and transportation hub in the Soviet Union. Its seizure would have given the Germans an essential gain in the war. The preliminary advances of the German Navy have been swift, and they managed to seize tons of the town via early September. However, the Soviets have decided to shield Stalingrad at all costs. They used an aggregate of snipers, artillery, and tanks to sluggish down the German advance. The fighting in Stalingrad used to be fierce. The town was once divided into quite a few sectors, with each aspect battling for manage of everyone. One of the landmarks that were once misplaced for the duration of the battle was the Univermag branch store. The construction was once an image of Stalingrad's prosperity, and its destruction was once a blow to the city's morale. The Red Army fought fiercely to protect the city, and they managed to maintain German strength for numerous months. By November, the Germans had made considerable growth in the city. However, the Soviet Union launched a counteroffensive that caught the German military by surprise. This marked the establishment of the turning factor of the battle. The warfare for Stalingrad was once a brutal and protracted affair. Both facets suffered heavy casualties, and the town was once nearly destroyed using the cease of the battle. One of the landmarks that used to be lost at some stage in the struggle used to be the Red October metal plant. The plant was once a principal industrial complicated that produced metal for the Soviet struggle effort. The Germans captured the plant early on in the battle, however, the Red Army managed to recapture it later on. Another landmark that used to be misplaced for the duration of the warfare was once the Central Instruct Station. The station was once an essential transportation hub in the city, and its seizure using the Germans allowed them to deliver reinforcements and supplies. However, the Red Army managed to recapture the station, reducing the German provide traces and trapping them in the city. The fighting in Stalingrad used to be characterized by using excessive city warfare. Both sides fought for manage of constructions and streets, with snipers enjoying a key position in the battle. One of the most well-known landmarks in the city, the Statue of the Motherland, used to be broken throughout the fighting. However, the statue survived the fighting and was once subsequently restored. The turning point of the Siege of Stalingrad got here in November 1942, when the Soviet Union launched a counteroffensive in opposition to the German army. The Red Army caught the Germans with the aid of shock and managed to encircle and entice them into the city. This marked a foremost turning factor in the struggle and the Second World War as a whole. The German military was once pressured to battle for survival, and their furnished traces had been reduced. One of the landmarks that used to be misplaced throughout this segment of the warfare used to be the grain elevator. The elevator was once a key strategic factor in the city, and its seizure by way of the Germans allowed them to manipulate the waft of grain into Stalingrad. However, the Red Army managed to recapture the elevator, depriving the Germans of much-needed supplies. The fighting during this phase of the battle was once some of the most severe and brutal. Both facets suffered heavy casualties, and the town used to be nearly destroyed. One of the landmarks that were once misplaced at some stage in this segment used to be the Central Market. The market used to be the foremost trading center in the city, and its destruction had a foremost impact on the city's economy. Life for the duration of the Siege of Stalingrad was once extraordinarily hard for each civilian and soldier. The town used to be constantly under attack, and there was once an extreme scarcity of meals and supplies. Many civilians have been pressured to take haven in basements and bunkers to keep away from the consistent bombardment. One of the landmarks that were once affected using the siege was once the well-known Stalingrad tractor factory. The factory was a key industrial core in the city, however, it was once closely broken at some stage in the fighting. The factory workers, who had been often women, performed a key position in the battle effort, producing tanks and different military equipment. Despite the tough conditions, the people of Stalingrad remained decided to shield their city. The Red Army troopers fought with incredible bravery and resilience, and the civilians confirmed notable braveness and perseverance. The Siege of Stalingrad grew to become an image of Soviet resistance and defiance, and it stimulated the Allied forces to proceed with the combat against Nazi Germany. The Siege of Stalingrad got here to give up on February 2, 1943, when the German military surrendered to the Red Army. The hostilities lasted for nearly 6 months, and it had been one of the bloodiest and most brutal in history. The Germans suffered over 800,000 casualties, whilst the Soviets suffered over 1 million. One of the landmarks that used to be misplaced at some point in the ultimate days of the hostilities used to be the Red October factory. The factory was a major industrial center in the city, and its loss used to be a large blow to the Soviet battle effort. However, the Red Army managed to recapture the factory, securing a key victory in the battle. The end of the Siege of Stalingrad marked a foremost turning point in the war. The Germans had been pressured to retreat, and the Soviet Union started to push them again throughout the Eastern Front. The battle had proven that the Red Army used to be successful in defeating the mighty German battle machine, and it gave hope to the Allied forces. The Siege of Stalingrad had a profound effect on each the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. The German Navy had suffered a primary defeat, and their morale was once severely damaged. The Soviet Union, on the different hand, had emerged positively and had established itself to be a most important participant on the world stage. One of the landmarks that used to be destroyed in the course of the combat used to be the essential Teach station. The station used to be a key transportation hub in the city, and its destruction had a main effect on the city's infrastructure. However, the Soviet Union rapidly started to rebuild the city, and it ultimately grew to become an image of Soviet resilience and determination. The aftermath of the Siege of Stalingrad additionally had a profound impact on the direction of the war. The Soviet Union was once emboldened by its victory, and it started to push the German military again throughout the Eastern Front. The Allies additionally started to achieve momentum in the war, and the defeat of Nazi Germany grew to become more and more inevitable. The Siege of Stalingrad had a lasting legacy on the Soviet Union and the world. The battle had been one of the bloodiest and most brutal in history, and it confirmed the electricity of Soviet resistance and determination. One of the landmarks that survived the siege used to be the well-known Stalingrad tractor factory. The factory had been a key industrial center in the city, and its survival was once a testament to the resilience of the Soviet people. The factory continued to produce tanks and other army gear in the course of the war, and it performed a key function in the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany. The Siege of Stalingrad additionally had a profound effect on the Soviet psyche. The combat grew to become an image of Soviet braveness and resilience, and it helped to unite Soviet people in the face of the Nazi threat. The hostilities additionally performed a key position in the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany, and it helped to form the post-war world. The Siege of Stalingrad was a turning point in the Eastern Front of World War II. The battle had a profound impact on both the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, and it demonstrated the power of Soviet resistance and determination. The Siege of Stalingrad was a turning point in the Eastern Front of World War II. The battle had a profound impact on both the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, and it demonstrated the power of Soviet resistance and determination. The landmarks that were lost and those that survived during the battle serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made by the people of Stalingrad in defense of their city and their country. The Siege of Stalingrad will forever be remembered as one of the greatest battles in history and as a symbol of Soviet courage and resilience in the face of adversity. If you found this video informative and engaging, please consider subscribing to our channel for more educational content like this. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more fascinating historical topics in the future. Thank you for watching.